Hello everyone, everything good? Welcome to my channel. It's a pleasure to welcome you here. Today I'm using the Samsung manual to talk about the DB68 win-free model. Let's talk a little about the C422 error that appears on the display. Let me show you. C422 is a refrigerant flow blockage error. The manual lists 4 possible causes of this error and I'll explain each one. First, check that the service valves are fully open. Then check for any blockages in the pipe connecting the indoor and outdoor units. It's also important to check for refrigerant leaks. Finally, check the communication cables between the indoor and outdoor units, making sure that the power cable or communication cable is not crossed. Now about how the error appears on the display. Initially, you'll see C4 and then 22, because the display can't handle all 4 characters at the same time. So the code splits into C4 followed by 22, representing the C422 error. This code is a bit complicated as it is related to several different faults, which makes it difficult for technicians to identify the problem. It would be ideal if there were a code for each type of fault, but in this model, they are all interconnected. Let's start by talking about the service valves. They are located in the condenser and are used by technicians to measure the pressure and replenish the gas. If the air conditioner was recently installed and the valves are not open, the error will appear immediately upon installation. However, if the unit was already working, the problem is probably not with the valves, as they should already be open. In this case, we can rule out this hypothesis and move on to the next possible cause. When the manual talks about a blockage in the refrigerant tube, it is referring to an obstruction in the system, usually in the condenser capillary. The capillary is a very thin section of piping, essential for the proper functioning of the equipment. It is common for this section to become obstructed, causing the error. The other pipes, because they have larger diameters, are unlikely to become clogged. So it is important to check the entire fluid flow, but the main suspect is the capillary. Now, regarding the refrigerant leak, the technician needs to use a manifold to check the gas pressures, both high and low. Through these measurements, he can determine if there is a leak or if the amount of gas is correct. The manual lists the ideal pressures that should be found. If there is a leak, the pressure will drop constantly. This way, the technician can replace the gas and stop the leak, checking if any connections were not tightened correctly. Lastly, the manual mentions the cables between the indoor and outdoor units, usually a black cable with 3 wires, 2 for the power supply and 1 for the signal, marked as S. The cables must be installed with the same colors connected to the corresponding positions in both the evaporator and the condenser. If there is an error in the installation, the code C422 may appear. However, if your air conditioner was already working and the error has appeared now, it is likely that the problem is not in the communication cables. Even so, it doesn't hurt to check if any cables are loose or oxidized. I hope this video has helped you understand and identify the C422 error. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next videos. See you soon.